All is well in Zion? No, it's not. Well, good thing I checked. There we go. Probably want to boost the desktop audio a bit. And I think we're ready to go. Oh, which one is game 1? That's what we want to know now. It's GT Alt. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Been a bit too long since I casted DOK, but we are back. Gonna be starting now with some Jaraci Cup 6 casting. A little bit overdue, but here we go. I asked my server today, like, where should I start? And they were like, JC6. Yeah, I know, but... Anyway, we're gonna start in Groupstage A over here. And generally we would begin with a pretty hyped matchup between AGameAnx and Discara, but Discara is not even in Group A anymore. Not this tournament. So it's gonna be Orbnet is his opponent. For those of you who don't know, this is like his second tournament that he's played in DOK. But he's already in Group Stage A, which of course in order to get here you have to place in the semi-finals of the last tournament. So if that doesn't tell you how good he is, well, I don't know, you'll just have to wait and see. His opponent of course is going to be AGameAnx. Definitely, I think the GOAT of Discara, if you had to say. Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think if there's some way I can construe it so that I'm the best of all time, but I don't think so. And he's going to be going ref mode first, it looks like. So the matchup is going to be CVK. A-Game, of course, never a big fan of the mirror matchups, and Orbnet has been playing Coalition, he's been playing Salon, but not really playing the others, so no surprises there. I expect we're going to see this in Game 2 as well. This one is going to be A-Game's pick. Of course, he knows his opponent playing Coalition first, so why does he pick GT Alt? I think maybe he wants to go for some really aggressive, like, artifact plays. Of course, he did retire that early game base runner, so it's not going to be like anything cheesy or whatever, but I think A-Game is generally a fan of that. He's really been talking about Conf artifact pressure, so we'll see what he's able to get done here. Ref mode almost done. He's not being greedy though, so he's got Sandstorm Fab already queued up. Obviously, it's a bit greedy if you start making like all the salves before you start that, but he's not going to be doing that. And we do have some LAVs on the field here for Orbnet. He's going to take into railguns first. That's pretty unique. So I'm happy to see it. He canceled it. I'm not happy about anything. I hate my life. It's fine. But these LAVs here are just going to do a bit of scouting. This is quite a few of them though. So he definitely is wary of some kind of rush, and I don't blame him because obviously this is GTL, you know, this is the kind of map where you know, rushes like that are quite powerful. So, but he's got a pretty decent trade here. Doesn't seem to want to take it. Streaming during the early morning, I curse to be wiped out by the keepers of something. Is that like? That's not a Homeworld reference. I don't know what that is. Look, man, it's not early in the morning for me, okay? Although I am kind of aware that this is not the best time for a lot of my viewers, but don't worry, I'll be streaming somewhat regularly from now on. I am starting a job on the 13th, but it's in the evening hours. So then if I want to stream, I have to do it at times that are good for people, so that's kind of convenient. So Orbnet did go for a sport cruiser here. Now he's up on 2 base. But yeah, like, I know the keeper, but like, it's not like Abbasid. I don't know what that is, you know. Anyway, actually the second sport cruiser is on the queue now for Orb, which is kind of interesting. Still no tech. But you know, he is a little bit behind in terms of eco because obviously his PC came out first. And that happens if you go for LAVs and then you go into eco. Good dodge there on the cruise missile. Difficult, of course, to land those against strike-craft. Raiding is going to finish, and then I imagine he wants to push out here, but he seems to be respecting his opponent quite a bit. Obviously, there could be AVs here. He doesn't know any of that information. It looks like he is pushing out across the field now. He's going to be kind of wondering, like, why is there no tech behind this? You generally don't want to go for some kind of early aggro if you don't have tech following it up. But there's a lot of Sandscreamers out on the field, but Orb is still going to attack rails first here, so I don't like that, actually. I think that this is kind of setting himself up for potentially taking some serious damage when these skims get to the base, but we'll have to see. The other thing, of course, is there are assault chips on the field, and railguns obviously counter assault chips, but AVs can fight against them too, and assault chips, you know, unlock air tech, and I think that could maybe be problems if you've got obviously rails on the field here. A couple salves can be cleaned up by the sand skimmers from A-Game. A-Game, of course, is just on 2 base. When he sees this, he's gonna be like, okay. His opponent apparently is on 3, or at least he was. So he'll just expand up 2. He's got another PC already on the way. It's not gonna be really slow to his 3rd base. Maybe Orb has a little bit of a mining advantage, but he got the 2nd slower. So I got to imagine this game's pretty much even at this point. Except for tech-wise, I feel like A-Game's a little bit ahead, but you know, we'll see. Obviously, wow, he's taking armor fast though. Look at this. He really wants to, I think, like, smash these LEDs, punish the eco play. You know what? Maybe rails weren't that bad of a choice. He definitely needs some, though. Obviously, he's got that tech done, you know, but tech doesn't mean a whole lot without actually building the unit. AV tech gonna get started now. Uh-oh. He sees the assault ship now. He's got to be building rails, right? I don't know if he is. Okay, now he's got some queued up. Interestingly, the 2 here means that it's on the 2nd production slot, not that he's building 2 of them. I've never understood, like, why the DFB ecosystem is like that. Aye. Assault ships hurt. So obviously it's AoE damage against these strike crafts. It's pretty powerful. He's not going to get any kills there, but it's definitely a little bit nervous. Rails are out, though. That is pretty good. Armor 3, of course, done for A-Game, so I mean, these guys are pretty tanky, and he's got anti-air now, too. Actually, he might have wanted to cancel that once he saw the railgun come out here. Like, obviously, there's not going to be air in that case, but I do like him playing safe. Orbnet has been known to kind of come out with, like, weird strats that work, so, like, you know, just keep covering his bases. I don't dislike that myself. AV Fab is going to finish, now he starts taking into some LED upgrades. I would actually go for Mag Excel, but I definitely wouldn't do this. We'll use a couple of LEDs there. Could lose everyone on the base here. Salves are getting low, but looks like he's not going to be punished for it. He really wants to dive on the assault ship zone. I don't think that's the way you play this. Obviously, so it's true, when the rails hit them, they get sundered. But, like, he took so many losses there. And now that he doesn't have as many LEDs as his opponent sand skimmers, they can kind of say, well, you got rails, cool. I mean, I've got skims, you don't do anything about these. Actually, not being able to trade efficiently though into that sport cruiser, that was a bit surprising. So, I guess that's just heals from the sport cruiser and the weapon that it has on its own. As well as rails, you know, they don't miss every shot, so. Whew. Well, you know what, looking at the board now though, like, things are actually looking pretty good for Orb all of a sudden, you know? And he's gonna take anti-air as well. He doesn't want to get caught out by anything, of course. I really want to see Mag Excel though, so he's getting some LED upgrades here, but I've always been a fan myself of like full armored compositions, so you get, you have LEVs of course in the early game, but you can kind of phase them out. You just want to have armor and railguns, but it's really expensive. And I think the LEV is obviously a lot cheaper on the RUs. That'll allow him to have more missile batteries, and they've got some anti-air on their own. I think they're both valid choices, but I would like to see Mag Excel instead, and then start taking into the heavy vehicle armor upgrades. Honor Guard's going to be on the queue now for A-Game as well. Those are some tasty units, you know. This LAV here gonna get caught out. Not a big deal, just wanted to get a bit of vision there, but it's gonna be denied. And then he's gonna send a probe out too. I don't know exactly what he's looking for though. Actually, you know what? I guess he is gonna see rail tech is done here. If he checks the carrier, but he chooses to like kind of move off to the side. Looks like he just wants to know the positioning of the opponent's army or something. Obviously, he needs to watch out for the PCs. They have pretty good anti-air. He's gonna see 3 base, but he never checked this carrier, so he doesn't know about the tech. Obviously, you know, you're not gonna see honor guard tech. There's no tell on the carrier, but you will see railgun fab, which obviously is a prerequisite to it. It's that little column that raises up there. Weak. Alright, well, I'll see you, fellas. You know what else, though? A-Game is teching railgun armor. He doesn't have any on the field yet, but obviously he plans to get it. You can tell he definitely owns this field right now. I was mentioning earlier he might go for some artifact pressure. That definitely hasn't been the case. But he could now if he wanted to, I suppose. Oh, hey. It's a new guy. I'm not sure. Maybe I've seen you on the Discord, but I'm not sure if I've seen you before. And Orb now, he is teching these heavy vehicle upgrades. I like that a lot. Still no Mag Excel though, but I'm starting to think maybe I sound a bit silly for saying that, because obviously he hasn't actually taken a rail fight yet. But his opponent, of course, has rail armor too, and there are some heavy rails in the field now, finally. It was a little odd to see A-Game teching that many rail armor upgrades before he actually built any of these things, but... So he actually has armored units upgrades, like level 3, and rails level 3. And now Orbnet looks like getting a little antsy. He wants to push out across the field himself. They trade 1 for 1 there. Check the units lost tab here just to see. Wow, that is really even, actually. A-Game, I suppose, a little bit behind here for having lost some RUs as well, but, And you know what? It looks like, actually, Orbnet is going to be moving out with some base runners first. Wants to get a bit of artifact pressure started here. Of course, he did, like, he drove a little bit of a wedge here, made his opponent kind of back up to deal with him, and now, he has, like, a little moment where he can pick up this artifact, but... Uh-oh, base runner is joking with the turret. That's not what you want to see. Honestly, you should just cancel this, though, because obviously, he doesn't really have the army to fight here. He'll only use a couple of ABs for free there. This turret obviously gonna get smacked as well. Friendly fire with the free boot. He shoots his own base runner with the mortar. I like that. LED's gonna come streaming in here. I really don't like this because obviously there's an honor guard in the area. Say it ain't so. All of a sudden, tons of units gonna die there, just really for nothing. And again, still no mag excel, so he's got high ground in the game, but I still don't really think he can push on him here. And now he doesn't have that LED force at all, so he can only deal with these skims using like armored assaults, and like 2 of them isn't gonna cut it. This could be a dead sport cruiser if A-Game wanted it, but it looks like he's gonna back away. He's always one to be cautious like that, and it definitely looks good in games that he wins. Yeah, this is why he took the units lost tab. Trailing about 1,700 CUs now as Orb, so he's got a lot to do if he wants to get back into this one. This is a lot of freaking railguns too. What a Twitch babe I am. Are you talking about me or you? Mag XL is coming out though now for A-Game, which is good. Again though, like these LED upgrades start to seem a little bit useless to me. This is kind of the composition I was talking about that I wanted to see him have, but like these rails in a really good position, his carrier definitely got caught out here. Oh no, and you can't fight this because obviously you don't have high ground here. Not to mention the honor guard. Like if you get close, yeah. Ooh, that's a little painful. And obviously these sand skimmers are just doing whatever the heck they want. So if they wanted to, this main base is free. The second base is probably free too. And again, A-Game, he doesn't even need it, you know, he pulls off. But man, he could have just taken everything there if he wanted to. Am I gonna upload these to YouTube? Yes. Actually, I should mention that. I've been really lazy about that, like really for no good reason. I've got all these like JC5 casts. I think we finished it entirely. We did the lower bracket meme co-cast the other day with God Hates Weaves. And I've just got them sitting on my laptop. I moved to a new computer, you know. But I still have that old laptop, obviously. I just haven't uploaded them, so I should really do that. I don't know, I'm being lazy. But I'll get on it one of these days. Watching with popcorn. Nice. Range calibration coming out for A-Game now. You'll love to see it. Actually, we just saw the upgrade for carrier production coming out for Orbnet, finally. He hasn't been floating that much, though. So maybe he didn't need it yet. A-Game is actually floating a bit more than him. So that's interesting. Well, yeah, I guess he's only on 2 PC himself. Now, see, this is probably the difference between me and A-Game. If I were him, I would build like 7 honor guards and then lose. And instead, he recognizes this one honor guard. First off, it's already paid for himself because it did that huge amount of damage to all those skims. But second, the threat of it is like making it so that his opponent can't really just match rails with him, but that's really where his strength is. So he's not just spamming honor guards. He doesn't need that. A bunch of missile batteries here, so obviously you got to be a little bit worried if you're A-Game. You can see him preemptively splitting there, but freaking the mortars, pretty good hit actually. It's pretty decent, but all the salvagers got cleaned up off the line. The sport cruiser goes down to half. I'd definitely say that's worth it for Orbnet, or sorry, for A-Game. And Student's Lost tab just gets worse and worse. The skill's getting worse all the time, and obviously you got to realize with range calibration too. He's got a win condition now where he can just fight his opponent without any chance for a recourse, which is exactly what he's doing here now. Doesn't hurt that he's on high ground, you know what I mean? But like, This carrier pushes out, he just turns off range calibration, no problem, backs up, he can just take his 3 damage. And this might be Desperado here, maybe he's just losing the game right now. Seemed like a bit of a slow burn, but this seemed a bit inevitable ever since like the LEDs died, right? So interesting openers. I feel like Orb just didn't really know what to do about this honor guard. And down he goes. I should turn the music up a little bit. It feels a little anticlimactic. Maybe it's just me. No, let's turn it up a bit. Hold up. %666%. How about that? Game 2 here then, gonna be on the Boneyard. This one's Orbnet's pick. Oh, and we do actually have a little bit of a mix-up of factions here. This is kind of interesting. Oh wow, especially because Orb picked this first. Oh, you mean like the desktop audio? Or do you mean like my voice? Because I can do either one, obviously. But it's gonna be actually Saban versus Coalition. Now, I've got to say, I didn't expect that. Oh, my voice has to go up a bit. Oh. Okay. You know, it's awkward, though, because I can't actually boost it any further. I can just duck the desktop audio, but then everything sounds a bit quieter, obviously. It's a little annoying. I wish I had a... Well, maybe in the settings for like the input capture? No, they don't have anything there. Oh well, we'll have to call it good. I ducked the desktop audio just a little bit. Ah, good. In my experience, cruisers are hard to kill with base units when your opponent plays well. Yeah, I would agree. Definitely one thing that's kind of changed as we move into Jaraci patch instead of vanilla is that like cruisers are sort of this kind of late game unit in a sense, you know what I mean? And it's difficult to fight against them if you haven't got cruisers of your own. So if you stay on the mid-game techs, which are like armored units and railguns and stuff, it's really kind of difficult to fight against cruisers if you're not going to match it. Your carrier can kind of do it, but it can only be in one place at a time, obviously. And if they're BCs, you know, that's not going to work. Definitely railguns are a threat to these cruisers, but like if your opponent plays really well, it's difficult to get the kills on them, so... High hit point pools and stuff, you know, very good utility on them generally. Honor Guard Cruiser anti-air, right? But I want to talk about this matchup just a little bit, as we do have AV Fad coming out for Orb, but no tech yet actually for A-Game, just going to build a couple of LEDs here. But Orb picks Coalition first, right? And A-Game generally avoids the mirror matchup. He plays Conef and he plays Salon, but he wants to mix it up a little bit here. And then Orb is going to have the map pick too, so obviously he's doing this into Orb's map pick, but I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. A-Game pretty flexible to play on any map with any faction, I would say. Did he get the rally point fixed here? Oh, what a pleb. It doesn't really matter, obviously, but... Oh, and Fighter and Gunship going to come out here, actually, first for A-Game. But I don't know, it's interesting to see A-Game actually wanting to play into the mirror matchup. Generally, he doesn't do this. So, I wonder if he's got something in particular planned, or if he just wants to mix it up. Rails don't seem good answer when it's HDC or Saban BCs. Actually, they're pretty good against Saban BCs because counterintuitively they actually out DPS them. Well, you know what? That was not true in JC5. Maybe I should be careful saying that, because it turned out that BC's having so much alpha damage, as A-Game of course wins the StrikeCraft War. That's what he always does. They could kill Rails for free basically, and the whatchamacallits. The BCs just basically never got punished for this. And by the way, this is a very Orbnet type game that we're seeing here now. He got AV Fab first, but he's just moving straight into another sport cruiser. We saw this all the time in JC5, this is what he was doing. As he cleans up that LAV, by the way, it's kind of nice. Oh dear, he's gonna lose a salve here. Ooh. But yeah, he just wants to play for eco, that's basically what he does. It's straight into BCs. That is such an Orbnet move as well. This is exactly what he does. Try this out sometime, guys. I mean, I know, like, a lot of people, they die to early rushes when they're playing against, like, me, let's say. when you play against like Descaro especially, he doesn't tend to early game rush you. Like, just try this out. Try and like cheese and get to eco faster than him. Sometimes you'll die needlessly, but like sometimes you can get away with it. It definitely puts the ball in your opponent's court, and honestly, it's a little difficult sometimes to recognize that your opponent is cheesing you for eco. You can just kind of get away with it. So, is AGameAnx gonna let him get away with this? I don't know. This could be risky. Because obviously he hasn't got any anti-air. Look at this. Support cruiser anti-air actually being teched here. But he's already got 5 strike fighters when these two finish. So this could be bad times. This could be really bad times for Orbnet. AGame really chooses to pressure it properly. Gets a nice kill on the LAV over here as well. Air is launching. We still have 40 seconds away from SC anti-air. So actually, you know what though? There's no LAVs to scout either, so Orb's not going to know about this until they reach the base. That's actually a big deal. Because what he could do now is back this support cruiser up to the main, or I call this the main, like where the carrier is. That's where he doesn't have any anti-air. And then, oh, that's a little awkward. Only 4 of them launched. But then he'll have anti-air coverage everywhere. He can kind of, you know, whoa, hiccups. He can kind of make AGame try and like fight against the, like the anti-air, make him micro a little bit. Double base runner actually going to be the play here, but he was building these before he saw the air, so that's kind of interesting. I don't believe he saw the carrier, right? So this is just kind of blind. I like it. Support cruiser anti-air going to be finished now though, but he does get a couple more kills. And he's going to go back in here despite the anti-air on the SC. Which, as you can see, wow, that does a lot less damage than I thought. Support cruiser anti-air, if you remember, that used to be map packs. Yeah, definitely. Support cruiser anti-air used to be kind of like the go-to tech anytime your opponent had air because it was really, really strong. But it definitely was nerfed in Jaraci patch. It does not do nearly as much as it used to. I think that AGame got 5 salvagers there, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had killed 2 LAVs, right? So those are 5 salves. Let's see if the math checks out. 200 plus 5 times 150 would be, oh gosh. Yeah, I think that checks out. I think that's 950. So pretty good damage, and AGame being on 3 base already, I'd say he definitely is ahead in this case. I wish that the air units didn't turn invisible when they were docking, but you can see it's pretty freaking cool what it looks like. And that's gotta be like some kind of bug, like on my machine, because like I never see other people have that problem, but like, I don't know. Flawless game, DOK. And it's going to be a commit into LAVs now from AGame. Of course, when he was over here, he had a chance to check out the tech. I imagine he would have. It's AVs, but it's nothing else. And because there's no units on the field, that kind of tells you there's going to be cruisers coming out. So I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this LAV pick. Obviously, it could be ACs, in which case this seems a little bit useless. And obviously, he's got AV tech as well, so he could have a couple of those out on the field. Gaussian air units inbound. But... oh, you have the bug too, it's not just me? Huh. Yeah, maybe it's like a common thing. Uh-oh. Okay, you know, I criticized him, but I'm going to take it back immediately. Yeah, I guess when your opponent is afraid of air, he's going to build anti-air, and then all of a sudden, here you go. This is a unit that can get across the field really quickly. He's not even going to finish this turret post, look at that. Oh, it looks like he is going to finish it in the end, but... this is going to be a bunch of salvager kills as well. I love the attempt at the det packs there, but he's not going to get too much out of it. Obviously, this base runner can't even set down a turret. But here's the BC. Obviously, BCs actually are not the best units against LAVs, but LAVs are definitely not the best units against BCs. I guess you can say that for sure. They you know, they don't do damage to them, right? And this is just a support cruiser here, so this is a little awkward. He's got rail tech. He's ready to contain his opponent's carrier off of the push here as well. So he's looking fine. AGame is. He definitely has the eco lead here, you've got to say. Because obviously he's killing salvagers back and forth. He pulled this guy off the line for a while, too. Yeah, you know what, Orbnet's like, yeah, I feel like I'm probably losing, so he just GG's right there. That's what I was going to say. Obviously, this air is not going to go away. And players like AGame are very good at keeping it from dying. And this is a big number of coalition railguns. We talked about how, cruisers are not very easy to counter if you don't have cruisers of your own, but like, I don't know, you kind of need to snowball if you're going to BC rush like this, and I feel like Orb just hasn't got it. And he sees it too. He's going to choose the GG. And that is going to be 2-0 for A-Game. So yeah, welcome to Jaraci Cup 6, I guess. We're going to keep casting for those of you who are on stream, but for the YouTube guys, farewell.